O mga kababayan, napakaganda nito. Napakaganda nitong obserbasyon mga kababayan. Itong ating scholar at political analyst mga kababayan na si Ana Malindog Uy tungkol doon sa nangyaring hearing mga kababayan sa confirmation of charges si Tatay Digong Duterte. Na kung saan mga kababayan, mayroon siyang obserbahan dito sa prosecution mga kababayan na walang ibang ginawa kundi magpaawa. Nag-storytelling mga kababayan. Kumukuda-kuda na kung kahit ano-anong mga palasyos na mga statements mga kababayan. In short, mga guni-guni at mga imbento para idiin lang ang ating dating Pangulo. Panoorin niyo po.
Yung presentation ng prosecution, which is the first day and the second day, though nagkaroon ng chance na magkaroon ng opening statement si Attorney Kaufman, yung defense side, makikita mo talaga sa prosecution, ang kanilang presentation is, to be very honest, objectively, no, not because I support the former president, but really objectively. Unang-una, ang nilatag ng prosecution is based on kung i-analyze mo siya, masyadong ang kanilang presentation is appeal to emotion.
Appeal to emotion, oh. Naalala niyo mga kababayan, parang nagmaalaala mo kaya the victim of Mr. Duterte. Unyetik sa mga animal nga. Diyos ko Lord, mga NFA naman.
That's one thing. Kasi karamihan ng kanilang sinasabi is storytelling.
Storytelling, kwentong kutsero mga kababayan. Sila lang ang naniniwala, si Trillanes. Trillanes ang author!
Storytelling ng quote-unquote mga paglalahad ng kanilang mga tinatawag mong witnesses. Na very
invento.
obvious naman, if you have a basic knowledge of philosophy 101, which is logic,
philosophy,
makikita mo kung anong klaseng fallacy siya. Kasi one of the fallacies is actually appeal to emotion. That's one thing. Second, yung
hindi yan na titik-tikan ng mga judges mga kababayan ng ICC. Akala natin mga international judges yan sila. Pag-uwes ka mga kababayan ha, malayo pa lang naaamoy mo na ang sinungaling mga kababayan. Kung talagang hindi nila naaamoy yung mga fishy na ginawa ng prosecution, mga gunggong pala yan, mga judges na yan.
presentation nila is more on the speeches of the former president.
Kumukuha sila ng ebidensya galing sa bunganga ni Tatay Digong mga kababayan. Alam mo naman ang bunganga ni Tatay Digong, di ba? More on hyperbole.
Hindi pa buo yung paglalahad. Yeah. Parang cherry picking. Yung part lang na may sinabi siya na, how do you call that?
Out of context mga kababayan.
Papatayin ko kayo. Pero hindi nila nilalagay yung konteksto ng buong speech. Na,
sinabi naman ni Tatay Digong mga kababayan, I will kill you. Hindi naman siya nagsabi na, mauutos ako ng sino-sino dyan para patayin kayo. Meron bang pinatay mismo si Digong? Pakita ko yung ebidensya. Meaning siya. So, wala naman tayong nakita mga kababayan na pinatay si Tatay Digong. So, yun mga kababayan is as good as an empty threat. Panakot lang. Saywar mga kababayan. Strategy yan ng isang presidente. O diba? Maraming nag-surrender. Hindi yan ibig sabihin na minorder niya mga kababayan.
Sa una at sa huli, sinasabi niya na as long as you do your job, according to laws, poprotektahan ko kayo, referring to the law enforcers. So that is one thing. So masyadong cherry picking ang nangyari sa pagpipresent ng mga video.
Sinabi yan Tatay Digong mga kababayan, poprotektahan ko kayo as long as ginawa nyo yung mabuti yung kanyang mga katungkulan, ang inyong trabaho. Pero kung umabuso kayo, ako ang uunang hunting sa inyo. Hunting na naman ang kanilang sasabihin. Ako mapapakulong sa inyo. O di ba? Yung mga mga kababayan suspect sa kay Kian na mga pulis, pakulong na nga mga kababayan. So paano nila masabing walang justice dito sa Pilipinas?
Tatlo is ginawa nilang political theater din ng prosecution ang court. Why? Because if you really analyze the speech and the presentation of Butuyan at Attorney Butuyan, wala siyang ginawa doon kundi parang ilahad na ang Pilipinas ay a failed state now, which is a very embarrassing as far as I'm concerned as a Filipino watching him. I was watching him delivering his speech kasi ang Pilipinas yes, we have our own problems internally. May adversarial ang politics natin, but we are not a failed state. Precisely because we still have the courts and they are functioning. We have the Supreme Court. Pero sa paglalahad niya, para bang wala nang pag-asa, kaya kailangan dalhin na sa ICC ang kanilang kaso kay PRRD kasi hindi na nagpa-function ang bansa. Which is very embarrassing for me as a Filipino because that is not the truth. But ang sinasabi niya na nakakairita na inis na inis talaga ako is yung sinabi niya na yung paglalahad ni Vice President Duterte na tatakbo siya sa 2028, sinali pa nila yon sa presentation nila when in fact it has nothing to do with the case. So kung makikita mo, yung nangyari nung second day, parang political theater siya. It was converted into political theater and then political statement, figurative statement, hyperbole ang ginamit nilang sandata para sa kanilang presentation against the former president, which is in fact, if you really look at the Article 7 of the Rome Statute, may elements doon ang tinatawag mong contextual element. Ang pinaka-importante doon is first and foremost kung may systematic na killings, that's one, and also kung premeditated siya na within the policy, and the other one is massive. Na ibig sabihin, purposely, na this segment of the population you're really targeting. When in fact, during the time of Duterte, wala naman talaga ganon. There was no state policy in killing civilian, specific segment of our civilian population. Pero yun ang kanilang sweeping generalization na ang prosecution laging sinasabi, thousands of killing. But the problem is, who are these people that you're referring to when you talk about thousands of killings? Kasi hindi nila ma-pinpoint. They're just sweeping and this all are sweeping generalization na na-present. So sabi ko, sa akin lang, though I was really angry listening to all of this presentation by the prosecution, especially kay Attorney Botuyan, kasi for me, you're a Filipino and I am a Filipino. And lahat ng Pilipino nanonood. You don't paint the country as if it collapsed already. No, kasi we have our problems, but I don't believe that our country is already like Sudan, North Sudan na wala na talaga, lawless, wala na. There's no such thing as order. Hindi pa naman tayo umaabot marami tayong problema, alam natin yan, ikaw at ako, pero hindi pa tayo umaabot doon. At hopefully hindi naman tayo umabot doon, no? So yun. On the other hand, napanood ko naman ang defense ni Attorney Kaufman kahapon. Pinubaybayan ko siya. One thing lang doon na medyo na-off. Kasi bakit ganon? Ang daming reduction. Hindi mo marinig yung buo na presentation kasi sa coverage nila sa YouTube, may mga redacted segment na I think those are very sensitive or very important na marinig natin at ng buong mundo. Kasi ganito ang gusto kong sabihin din sa ating audience, hindi lang ang mga Pilipino ang nanonood sa hearing na to. Ang ino-observe yan ng buong mundo kasi this is a very controversial case, especially that ang nakasalang na tinatrial right now is a head of state na kung saan for other countries, nationalities of other countries, they don't really understand bakit siya nakasalang doon when in fact he was pursuing an obligation as a leader curbing criminality. Kasi sa ibang bansa, to be frank with you, I'm outside the country. I travel across different countries. Sa akin, ang observation ko, ang ibang nationalities, kapag leader ka na pinupursue mo ang law and order at talagang kinakalaban mo ang mga criminals, inaano ka nila, pinipraise ka nila. Pero sa atin, parang nangyari, bakit mo pinaparusahan ang leader na actually may maraming ginawa to establish law and order in the country. So, yun ang yun yung medyo hindi maintindihan at medyo nagtataka ang ibang nationalities. Of course, tayo sa Pilipinas, divided naman ang Pilipinas pagdating dyan sa usapin na yan. Pero one thing though that I observed sa presentation naman ng defense ni Attorney Kaufman, I think he did a good job yesterday. Kasi bakit? Na-debunk niya ang almost all ng mga points na present ng prosecution. And una-una, maganda yung nangyari na-define niya yung tinatawag mong to neutralize. Kasi very important yun. Kasi sa prosecution, sinasabi nilang to neutralize is equal to killing.
Yeah, but it's not, diba? So go ahead, finish that first because I want to ask a question. Go ahead.
One very important thing is yung word na to neutralize or phrase na to neutralize, kasi sa prosecution lahat ng kanilang speeches lagi nilang ini-emphasize na to neutralize is equal to killing, when in fact in the context of the Philippines, even sa mga speeches ni President Duterte, sinasabi niya to neutralize. Marami akong beses nakikinig, almost lahat ng speeches sa atin ni President Duterte before, nakikinig ako, especially on drug war. Kasi I've written a lot of articles on the drug war, published in ASEAN Post, with data and everything, and even with statistics. So alam ko yung issue. So ang sabi doon, ang sabi ni Kaufman, to neutralize does not necessarily mean to kill. Actually, to neutralize in our context during the drug war is to subdue, to disarm, and to incapacitate the criminal, but not necessarily to kill. If you define this, substantially speaking, it doesn't, hindi ito equivalent ng killing. Ang killing is the last resort. Yun ang sinasabi ni Duterte before. Pero sa prosecution, ang sinabi nila, to neutralize is equal killing. Which is actually, yung point na yon is already, kumbaga, sobrang na-debunk ni Attorney Kaufman yon, which is a very important element when kung ang mga judges ng ICC na umuupo ngayon sa kaso na ito, sa confirmation hearing ni Digong, kung talagang iintindihin nila at magiging independent sila sa decision nila, this point is a very important one, na kung saan isang point lang, isang element lang ng Article 7, Crimes Against Humanity ng Rome Statute, dapat discharge na dapat si Digong sa decision nila. Pero yun nga ang kinakabahan ako kasi this is not just an issue. Itong nangyayari kay Digong is not just about justice. It's not even about international criminal law alone. There's politics behind this, and there are people behind it.
Just a minute, ha? Just a minute, kasi you had a lot of really good points that I want to. I'm listening to you, and you're really you've really labored, no? Because it's really hard to watch, right? It's really hard to watch, and well, all of this that you said, no, this is why I like Digong. Wouldn't that the right place have been in a Philippine court?
Yes.
The indignity of us, no? Of you there, of the Filipino people, no, we're dancing and singing to the tune of a foreign court. Not just that, no? Kasi nag-NTFL ka ako. So alam ko CPP, NPA, NDF ang nasa likod ng mga yan, right? So we're dancing to the tune na pinapasayaw tayo nito mga komunistang teroristang ito, na kaalyado ni Marcos at ng ICC. That's the indignity to all of this, di ba? I mean, PRRD was very willing to face whatever charges were going to be filed against him in a court of law in the Philippines, diba? But here we are, no? Here we are, like monkeys, pleading our case before foreigners, no?
Yes.
Before foreigners. I mean, Kaufman is he's okay with me, but why does it have to be even a white lawyer defending a Filipino citizen before a court of white people? It's just so I just feel so indignant about it, diba? So
yes.
and it's not just of course it is of great value that this indignance that a lot of Filipinos are feeling, this indignity that we're feeling, that we're being subjected to, because you have a president who misused and abused the power vested on him by our constitution, that given to him by the Filipino people, to use it as a weapon, a political weapon for his own nefarious goals, diba? So my question to you, Ana, no, of what pragmatic value though is sovereignty, because Bongbong Marcos has stolen away our sovereignty, and we are now before the global community this indignity of a Filipino citizen explaining himself before foreigners who have no business in the way we run our country, except that we have a drug addict there in Malacanang who has no capacity to lead this country and has surrendered. This shame, this treasonous act of surrendering a Filipino citizen before foreigners. I mean, you know, Ana, even I was just looking at the judges. They just look so washed up. And I was listening to some of the reels, no? Mas magaling pa talaga Pilipino na mga lawyers at mga judges. I mean, seriously, you're the one. No, I'm serious. Because my
Yeah, yeah,
father's
I
a lawyer. I come from a family of lawyers, and I have friends who are
Oh.
lawyers, and just watching this and judges and all of that, and our Supreme Court. You mean to say we're going to let these washed up Europeans na mukha pang babaho ng mga kilikili nila, no, na mukha pang the way I mean, they're the ones going to pass
Yeah.
judgment on us, di ba?
Yes,
And to add to
yes.
that, Anna, this one big elephant in the room, no? That the 18 Marines, the 18 soldiers implicated, these ICC judges na binayaran sila, may suhol, $2 million through Sunny Trillanes, no? So, could you please tie it all up?
Yeah.
Tie it all
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
Anna. Basically, my question is of what great pragmatic value is the sovereignty of a nation?
Una, tama ka doon. Actually, yung tinatawag mong ang hirap pakinggan at ang hirap bilang Pilipino na minomonitor mo yung nangyayari sa
Yeah.
ICC, sa
Bilib ako
confirmation
sa'yo,
hearing.
hindi ko kaya.
Oh. Ako, kailangan kong sumigaw ng sumigaw sa room ko.
Tsaka academic ka kasi kaya mo
Oo.
kaya
I
ka
have to
mahilig
look
sa-
at it.
kaya
Oo.
kaya mo, 'di ba?
Oh, I have to look at
Kaya?
it from a very objective and detached and cold
You know what?
perspective. Oh.
Anab, can I just add a little bit,
Oh.
ha?
Okay lang.
Having even before I worked with PRRD, mayabang na ako sa pagka-Pilipino, and that issue is a sore spot with me, the US Philippine relationship, na yung pagka-colonial natin. It's a sore spot, even yung our history, no, yung we were subjugated by Spain, by America, etc. Sore spot sa akin yan. Lalo pa na nagtrabaho ka kay Digong. Because that's his character, no? What we're seeing now is the very essence of PRRD, his sovereignty of the nation, because he's a very sovereign individual. He's a sovereign. Look at this man.
Yeah,
He's a very
absolutely,
sovereign
yes,
man,
true.
no?
Yeah.
Talagang he has spiritual sovereignty over himself, I mean, really. So, watching
Yeah,
this
I
now,
understand.
no? So anyway, go ahead, Anna.
Oo.
Go ahead.
Oo,
I'm sorry, Professor.
The first day, makikita mo sa presentation pa lang, to be very honest, though I really tried my best to be very objective, detached, and also to treat the whole proceedings as cold, na wala akong emotional attachment even
It's
if
an
I'm
academic exercise.
Oo, it's an academic exercise analyzing it.
Yeah.
Unang-una, ang hirap ha. Unang-una, yung makikita mo, doon ako na talaga umiinit yung ulo ko, lalo na nung presentation ng first ng deputy prosecutor saying na like how many times they said or they spoke about the word drug lords, criminals, drug addicts. Ulit sila sinasabi na ito yung mga tao na dinidepensahan nila against President Duterte. That was the optics the first day. Parang sabi ko, my God, this is really like a shame that a former head of state is now under trial, is being trialed because he was pursuing and curbing criminality, especially drug lords. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, saan ba nakakita tayo sa mundo na we put our country in that humiliating situation and this confirmation hearing, na you paint the country na you're parang bakit mo pinaparusahan at tinatrial lang isang presidente, former president na alam mo yun, drug lords, drug lords, criminals and all, na sabi ko, hindi ba dapat sabi ko habang nanonood ako, sabi ko, di ba dapat bigyan natin ng parangal si Duterte dahil, di ba, sa ginawa niya, pero ang sakit pakinggan, and that is even it's a humiliating experience for me as a Filipino. Really,
Very
I'm
humiliating.
not. Oh, humiliating
and you
for
know
me.
what?
Yeah.
And you know what, Anna? It's a stain that will never be washed off.
Yes,
Nandiyan na yan.
it will never be.
Sa
Nandiyan
record
na.
natin, there was a president who surrendered a Filipino citizen to a foreign court. So go ahead, Anna. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the other thing, kasi ito yung mga reflections ko habang nanonood ako at ano yung nararamdaman ko. Though I'm really trying my best to control my emotions during this hearing, no, na hindi siya will not affect my mental capacity to analyze it. So the second one is the issue of sovereignty. Habang habang pinapakinggan ko, sabi ko, this kind of accusation against the president is actually can be trialed inside the country. Kasi kung titignan mo talaga yan, imagine mo 78, 3 counts. 78 ang kanilang ina-allege at nandun sa 3 counts na quote-unquote victims or ginagamit nila against the former president. Though sa kanila mga presentation, sinasabi nila na thousands have died during that time, pero hindi nila mapangalanan. Wala naman silang ebidensya. So, pero yung 78, sabihin na natin they have. But my God, 78, this is some kind of homicide. Okay, fine. If you want him to be trialed or to file charges against the former president, you can do that in our local courts. Why do we have to be in the world stage humiliating
Kaya-
ourselves? When
You know, Ana,
counts of 78 victims, is it tantamount to crime against humanity? Of course not. So I was like, oh my
You know
God.
what, Ana? I'm really curious about what the judges, the judiciary, how they feel about this, no?
Yes, that
Because
is
if that were
very
me, I would
important.
be so fuckingly insulted. I mean,
Yes.
I look at them and my God, it's like watching a Filipino being operated on by mga voodoo na as a doctor, and then you know that there are amazing doctors in the Philippines, as dinala mo sa kung saang unga-bunga para operahan ng mga voodoo or whatever, di ba? It's just so insulting. No?
Yeah, and another thing din na magandang na point out mo is the language itself. Alam mo,
Yeah.
ang sakit sa tenga. The
Yeah.
presiding judge, yung president, ni-address nila, president,
Oh, God.
yung nag-rule, speaking in French. Not even speaking in English. Sabi ko, ang sakit nito. Filipino, ang nag-rule judge, ang language na ginagamit ng court is French. How can you, parang, ang hirap. Okay pa ako sa English, pero French ang
You know what,
language na
Ana?
ginagamit.
You know
Oh
what,
my God.
Ana? I just had a thought now, no? I just had a thought. Kaya dinala si PRRD dyan, no? At hindi sa Philippine courts kasi ang galing-galing ng judicial system natin. And they will not pass muster.
They will not, oo.
Hindi sila mananalo dyan.
Madidismiss yung kaso kaagad. Oo.
Yeah, so they had to go to that pinakabulok na ICC na yan at sinusuhulan pa ng drug addict. Diyos ko naman, magpapasuhol ka na lang sa drug addict pa. Di ba, magpasuhol ka sa maayos na tao? Baka pagbigyan pa kita, baka patawarin pa kita. Pero sa drug addict, na pervert, na plunderer, di ba, Diyos ko? Di ba? So, tapos nagpapanggap ka pa, meron ka pang costume na black robe na parang judge ka. So, PRRD was correct, no? His faith in the judicial system of the Philippines is really correct, spot on, because this would not pass muster in a
No,
Philippine
I don't
court.
think so. To be
Yeah, go
very
ahead,
frank
Ana.
with
Yeah.
you, Dr. Rain, I don't think so. I think sa level ng prosecution, kasi ang kaso sa Pilipinas, may experience ako dyan. Marami akong experience dyan sa mga filing of cases and addressing cases. Kahit hindi ako lawyer, I deal with these things many times over with family-related things. Hindi directly to me, but other people na natulungan ko before. Ang sa level pa lang ng prosecution, di ba pag nag-file ka ng case sa level ng prosecution, madidismiss yung kaso. I'm not kidding. Kung sa Pilipinas yan, madidismiss yan. Hindi mo na kailangan to go through trial or to the court. Pero ang problema, well, it's not the situation at the moment. On the other hand, ang isa pa sa reflection ko, sabi ko, this is an assault not only to the sovereignty of the entire country of the Philippines kasi nga hindi tayo party na sa Rome Statute eh. On the other hand, an assault to the judicial sovereignty of the country, specifically to the judiciary. Yung buong judicial system natin. Alam mo, you put them in a very compromising situation and some kind of parang embarrassment. Kasi kung titignan mo talaga ang presentation ng prosecution, wala sila masyadong evidence that would really tie up everything to satisfy the elements of Article 7 of the Rome Statute, which is crime against humanity. Hindi na matype generalized political, they use the political language, hyperbole, and figurative language of the former president as evidence, which in fact, hindi ganun. Hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yon. You need to have hard, cold evidence, records, and tawag nito, paperworks yan eh. When you talk about legal issues eh, especially if you're in a trial or in a case. Hindi pwede yung mga story lang na hindi mo kayang i-back up yung with hard evidence. So, yun yung sabi ko, my God, parang if I am a judge in the Supreme Court or kahit anong courts na mayroon tayo, parang mapapahiya ako na nasa world stage tayo, covered by many countries, being watched by the whole world, pero ang kaso mo kaya naman palang pwede yan sa local courts At I think it will be resolved by the local courts right away. So
You know what?
the sovereignty of the country and the judicial sovereignty of the judiciary of the judicial system really compromised, and it was put into an embarrassing situation, to be very frank with you. Doon ako medyo, as a Filipino, emotionally doon ako nainis na para bang, why do you have to put the country in this situation na pwede naman sa mag-away-away na tayo sa loob ng bansa, sa loob natin, tayo mag-file kayo ng ilang cases kung gusto nyo, pero don't put us in a world stage na parang laughing stock ang dating natin. Really, to be frank. Especially that speech of Butoyan. My God, I'm not kidding. The Butoyan speech was, my God, sabi ko, oh my God, lawyer ba to? Sabi ko, bakit ganito siya mag-deliver ng kanyang presentation on behalf of the so-called victims? Sabi ko, it was not even a legal presentation, it was a political presentation. Kasi ginawa niyang political theater ang ang court.
But Ana, all this is to be expected, 'di ba? Kasi nga naluto na nila, no. All of this is pre-planned already from my perspective, and I really think so. I'm not stupid, no. And the intent is really for PRRD to rot in jail and to die there. No, that's the intent. And niluluto na nila. And sino ba yung nasa likod na yan? Sino ba yung nakikita yung mga pagmumukha ng mga buwisit na nandyan? Di ba si Cristina Conti? CPP yan eh. Tsaka
Hindi na siya mabuti nga, hindi na allow eh. Hindi siya inalaw.
Pero I'm saying,
nandun siya para magrarara.
yeah, but even before, when PRRD sat in office, ang 30,000, 27,000 EJ case na yan, yung numero na fantastic na yan, manggagaling lang yan sa utak ng mga tangang CPP na yan.
Of course,
so lumabas
I would
na yan,
agree.
nagpunta kaming UN, EU para i-expose sila. Ang makita mo talaga, Ibon Philippines, and CPP yan. So matagal na nilang pinaplano ito, and then dumating ang Bongbong Marcos na hulog ng impyerno sa kanila, no, sa mga CPP. Talagang blessing yang si Marcos na yan sa teroristang organisasyon na ito na makakabalik pa, no? Nakakabalik pa sila ngayon. I-release pa nga ngayon si Ladlad, no? Mga high ranking. So anyway, what we can see right now is theater, like you said.
It's a political theater.
Diba?
Yeah,
So,
it's really correct. It's a political theater na kaya nga sabi ko, nung na-mention mo yung 18 gentleman affidavit.
Yeah.
Binasa ko yon. At I will be writing about it and publish an article tomorrow sa Manila Times. Especially that has something to do with the ICC.
Okay.
Tawag nito, political theater yan. Ang ko lang, one thing though, itong 18 gentleman affidavit, kumakalat na yan sa buong mundo. Kaya lumalabas na rin ang mga international, in a matter of time, the international media will cover it. Especially the affidavit itself. At saka, alam mo kung saan mas interesado. Hindi ko sinasabi, hindi sila interesado sa corruption ng domestic corruption na nangyari na 805 billion.
Yeah.
Oo, billion yun pero mas ang international community, interesado sila dun sa aspect ng ICC.
Yeah.
Yun yung aspect na yun na interesado sila.
Wait, let me get that. This is fantastic because very good yan because it really has to be an international issue.
Yes.
So for me, we really need to turn the tables on them. Let's make it a global issue because it is an international issue. Extraordinary rendition is a crime against humanity, and Bongbong Marcos has committed it, diba? And his collusion with a foreign court that keeps on interfering with matters that are no concern of theirs in other countries turns out to be so corrupt, 'di ba? So these are matters of international concern, 'di ba, that we have this nakikialam sa mga soberenya ng ibang bansa.
Yes.
Lalo't pag ang naging leader ng bansang 'yon ay drug addict na magnanakaw. O kahit nakasabihin na lang natin drug addict pero syempre alam natin magnanakaw siya, pero yung pagka-drug addict niya, kasi yung sinasabi mo kanina, yung naisip ko when you said that talagang winasak ang Pilipinas sa mata ng mundo. Kasi ganyan ang addict, walang pakialam ang addict, no? he is remember that Sun Tzu quote, the evil man will raise the country to the ground for power, 'di ba? Kahit anong gagawin niya, no? So go ahead,
totoo
Anna.
yun.
Go ahead.
Kasi ngayon, well, the international community is looking at the affidavit, especially the media, the international media. Ang alam ko, kasi I communicate with many of them, ang kanilang ang parang nagdo-draw ng attention sa kanila is yung aspect ng ICC.
Yeah.
Why? Precisely because the ICC is an international tribunal. So, of course, the international community will be very interested. Ano ang nangyari at ano tong issue na to? Ano yung development na to? Kasi dun sa 18 affidavit, ang una-una, first thing that is very important dun sa affidavit, linked to the ICC, so-called investigator na pumunta sa Pilipinas 2023, 2024, 2025, maraming issues doon na hopefully the judges and the so-called judges na umuupo ngayon sa confirmation hearing ni President Duterte ay tignan niya. Kasi una, maraming issues doon. Let me just mention it kasi sinulat ko siya sa post ko. Kung ano yung mga yun na kailangan. Actually, kung talagang independent yung mga judges na yan, they should look at this affidavit and try to scrutinize it. Though one positive thing though, Doc Lorraine, is nag-react sila sa affidavit na yon. Kaya naglabas sila ng statement. So, ibig sabihin, they're aware. And probably they have a copy already, which is good. Now, it's one thing to be aware of it and it's another thing to consider it in their decision. And also to scrutinize it kung paano siya magmamatter dun sa magiging decision nila sa confirmation hearing. Kasi the confirmation hearing, Doc Lorraine, is very important. Dalawa yan. Ang trial magpo-proceed, which is masakit sa atin, mga Pilipino, even non-DDS, masakit yan. Bakit? Because PRRD has to stay in that jail from 10 to 20 years. Kasi ang hearing sa ICC, tumatagal yan in between 10 years to 20 years. Depende yan sa schedule. At depende yan sa progression ng hearing. Kaya hindi ko ma-attempt na, oh my God, with all of this presentation ng prosecution na ang hina-hina, tapos magpo-proceed? Of course not. So, very important ang confirmation hearing. Dalawa lang yan. Matutuloy o hindi. Pag hindi natuloy, then uwi na si PRRD. And that's really what we are praying for. Kumbaga. Now, with regards to that, how do you call that, 18 gentlemen affidavit related to the ICC thing. Una, kailangan talagang tignan niya ng ICC judges kasi bakit? Yung kanilang credibility and integrity is maku-question lalo. Right now, the ICC is already being questioned by many global south countries, developing countries, the Latin America, especially Africa. Kasi nga, ang kaya lang nilang arestuhin or i-trial is yung mga countries na either failed state or developing or mahirap. Yung mga malalaking isda na actually tulad ni Netanyahu ng Israel, hindi nila magalaw. And take note, Palestinians are being, killed every day. Genocide yun. Yun yung malinaw na crime against humanity. Yun talaga malinaw yun. Yun? Lahat ng elements ng Article 7 mo, makikita mo doon, pero hindi nila magalaw. 'Di ba? So, ngayon pa lang, in question na ang credibility and integrity ng ICC.